Hello, and welcome back to The Deep Dive, brought to you by Real Decor. Today, we're really getting our hands dirty, figuratively speaking, or maybe literally later on.
Huh, maybe.
We're looking at how you can take some pretty common materials and turn them into, well, really sophisticated decorative art panels.
Yeah, that's the plan.
We've got two distinct rose designs to show you. And these weren't just, practice pieces. They started as client samples. And they looked so good, they actually ended up on a finished wall.
That's right. So today is all about breaking down that process. We want to really demystify how it's done, step by step, so you, the listener, can understand the core techniques.
Exactly. Not just what to do, but why you're doing it.
Precisely. Giving you the principles so you can maybe even, try something similar yourself.
Okay, so let's kick things off with method one. This is the one we're calling the finger method. A hand-drawn rose. The base is just a simple rectangle here, but I guess you could use any shape.
Oh, absolutely. Triangle, rhomboid, circle, whatever fits your space or idea. The shape's completely flexible.
Right, and the first actual step is applying spackle, or putty.
Yes, wall putty, spackle, same idea. You lay down a layer of that first. The interesting thing here, right from the start, the spackle itself, it's starting gray, the standard stuff.
Okay.
But we deliberately tinted it using black pigment.
Ah, so getting that dark base early on.
Exactly. It wasn't just random. It was thinking ahead to the final black color we wanted for the piece. It's a good principle. Building color depth from the base up. It helps avoid sort of flat finishes or weird undertones showing through later. Gives it richness.
That makes sense. So you've got your tinted wet spackle down. Now the finger part, how does that actually work? Is it literally just drawing with your fingers?
Pretty much using gloves on, obviously.
Right.
And then, yeah, you use your fingers to draw the rose shape right into that wet material.
Okay. What if you mess up?
That's the great thing about this method. It's super forgiving. Don't like a line, no problem. Grab a spatula, smooth it over, gone. Draw it again.
Ah, okay. So you can just keep tweaking it.
Endlessly, really. You can practice right there on the piece until you're happy. It really lowers the stress of potentially ruining it,
Yeah.
Especially if you're new to this.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the depth of those lines you make, that just depends on how thick your layer of spackle is.
Yeah.
More spackle, deeper lines. Simple as that. It gives you control.
Okay, so you've drawn your rose, you're happy with it. What's the next step? Drying, I assume.
Yep, let it dry completely. Then you'll probably want to give it a light sanding just to smooth out any, really rough bits.
Makes sense.
Then comes priming. And here we did something kind of clever. We added a tiny bit of emulsion paint, just regular water-based wall paint, into the primer.
Why do that?
It just helps you see where you've applied the primer, makes it visible.
Ah, so you don't miss any spots.
Exactly. Ensures you get perfect, even coverage everywhere, which is, pretty important for making sure the next layers stick properly and look consistent.
Got it. So primer's on, it's dry. Next up, metallic gold paint. You're putting this into the lines you drew.
With a brush right into those depressions.
Are you trying to be really neat here, like stay perfectly within the lines?
Actually, no. And that's an important point. You don't need perfect, crisp lines. In fact, a little bit messy, maybe slightly chaotic.
Yeah.
That's actually what you want.
Really? Why?
Because the next step is a black layer that's going to cover parts of it up anyway.
Right.
So this slightly messy gold creates a more like organic layered look underneath.
Yeah.
Not so stark and defined. It adds complexity.
Interesting. Okay, so the gold is done. Now the black layer goes over everything.
Yep. Black emulsion paint, also tinted with pigment for that really deep black.
And how do you apply that without filling in all those gold lines completely?
Good question. The key is using a small nap roller.
Okay, small nap, like short fiber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very short fibers. They apply a thinner, more even coat of paint. It means the paint doesn't just glug down into all the hollows you made with your fingers.
Ah, so the gold still shows through from underneath.
Precisely. You maintain that layered effect.
And what if the black does cover the gold a bit too much in places?
Yeah, that can happen. So once the black is on, you often need to go back in, just take a fine brush and carefully re-emphasize some of those gold lines where they got a bit lost.
Ah, okay. Touching it up.
Exactly. Just bringing back that metallic gleam so it highlights the rose shape properly. It's all about finding that balance, making sure the bits you want to stand out, well, stand out.
Right. And then there's one final touch for this first method, isn't there? The last decorative layer.
Yes. For this one, we used a leftover pearlescent primer.
Pearlescent, like shimmery.
Yeah, it gives a subtle kind of luster. This one also happened to have some glitter mixed in it.
Ooh, fancy.
Huh, yeah. But the effect is actually quite subtle. but really effective. It's transparent, so it doesn't hide anything, but it does seem to enhance the richness, the saturation of the black paint underneath. Makes it look deeper. And then, of course, you get that little bit of sparkle from the glitter, a nice subtle shimmer when the light hits it. Just adds another layer of visual interest. Makes it feel quite unique.
Okay, that sounds beautiful. Let's switch gears now. Method 2, the masking tape rose.
Right.
This sounds completely different, more abstract, geometric.
Totally different vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
Think straight lines, maybe angular shapes, rather than those soft, curvy, finger-drawn lines.
So maybe better if you're not confident drawing curves.
Could be, yeah. It offers a different aesthetic path. And the drawing process itself is a bit different, too. You can still sketch lines with a pencil first, like method 1. But this method works really well if you think less about drawing a literal rose and more about creating lines that just suggest a rose shape, repeating patterns. And then you can formalize those lines into rectangles or triangles. That's what gives it that abstract geometric feel. It's playing with form differently.
And the key step here, the thing that defines it, is the masking tape.
Absolutely. Painter's tape. You use that to meticulously outline all those lines you've drawn.
So you're basically creating stencils for the shapes.
Pretty much, yeah. You're defining the edges of your abstract rose very precisely with the tape.
Okay, tape is down, then spackle again.
Spackle again, yes. For this example, it was tinted red. And actually, it wasn't mixed perfectly smooth. Having some variation in the red color can add to the final look, make it more interesting.
Right.
Now, here comes a really crucial bit of advice for this method.
Okay, listening.
You apply the spackle over the tape. But, and this is vital, you absolutely cannot let the spackle fully dry before you remove the tape.
Oh, why not?
If it dries completely, when you pull the tape off, it'll just tear the spackle away in chunks. It'll ruin those nice clean lines you created.
Disaster. So you pull the tape while the spackle is still damp.
Exactly. Still damp, maybe starting to set, but definitely not fully hard.
Okay, so you pull the tape, and that's the big reveal.
Yeah.
Sounds satisfying.
It really is. You peel back that tape carefully and bam, these super clean, sharp lines of your design just appear.
Nice.
Instant gratification seeing it emerge like that.
After the tape's off, but while it's still maybe a bit damp, is there anything else you do?
Yes, definitely. Another important little step. While it's still workable, take your spatula and just gently smooth down any little ridges or excess bits of spackle left along the tape lines.
Ah, tidying up the edges.
Yeah, it just makes the sanding you'll do later much easier, gives you a cleaner starting point for the next stages, saves effort down the line.
Makes sense. Okay, so it dries fully. Then priming and painting again.
First, a deep penetrating primer.
Why deep penetrating this time?
Well, it really soaks into that spackle, gets rid of any surface dust, but more importantly, it strengthens the whole thing, makes it more durable, ready for the paint.
Gotcha, like a foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then after that, an acrylic emulsion paint goes on.
Now, you mentioned something about polishing this one with an angle grinder. That sounds intense.
Huh? It can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, the plan here is to apply a dark emulsion paint, red in this case, and then polish it up with an angle grinder that has a sanding disc on it.
Okay.
BUT. And this is a huge but. You absolutely, positively must test the paint first.
Test it. On what?
On a scrap piece. Anything. Just don't do it straight onto your panel.
Why?
Because not all emulsion paints can be polished like this. Some will just scuff up or burn or look terrible. You need to find one that works.
Right, so you could ruin the whole panel if you don't test the paint first.
Exactly. That test step is non-negotiable. You got to know your materials before you commit.
Okay, duly noted. Very important tip. So, assuming you've tested your paint, you've applied the red layer, were there any other sort of artistic touches before polishing?
Yeah, to really push that abstract look, we added random spots of white paint onto the red.
Oh, okay.
And then kind of blended them in a bit while they were wet. It creates this really energetic, chaotic, properly abstract feel. Adds depth, contrast, visual interest.
Cool. And then after that dries, it's back to the gold lines again, like the first method.
Yep, pretty much the same idea. Once the red and white layer is dry, you go back in with a brush and outline the rose shapes with gold metallic paint.
Right along those sharp edges left by the tape.
Exactly. And again, try to be neat, but if you make a little slip...
Did you wipe it off?
Yeah, well, the gold is wet. A quick wipe with a damp sponge usually sorts it out. It's still forgiving in its own way.
Okay. And then comes the polishing. The final step.
The final flourish, yes. You take your angle grinder with the right sanding disc, probably a fine grit, and carefully polish that dried red emulsion paint.
What kind of finish does that give? Is it like super glossy? Is it like Venetian plaster?
Good question. It's definitely not Venetian plaster. That's a whole different technique. Usually lime-based, multiple layers, very laborious.
Right.
But if you've chosen your emulsion paint well, you can get a really nice polished effect. A definite sheen, a smoothness, a depth that you don't get from just painting.
So a unique finish.
A very unique finish. It gives the piece a sort of professional, high-end look without needing, specialist plastering skills or material.
Wow. Okay, so two really different outcomes there. You've got the dark hand-drawn rose, organic, flowing, maybe a bit mysterious.
Showcasing that direct finger drawing approach.
And then the bright red, abstract, taped one sharp geometric, maybe more modern and bold.
Yeah, using that controlled chaos idea.
Both roses, but wow. Such different feels, different design thinking behind them.
And what's really cool, I think, is just how versatile these basic techniques are.
Right. You said any shape.
Any shape, rhombus, triangle, circle, whatever, and any color combo you could dream up.
So you could really tailor these to any room style.
Totally. Imagine these fitting into, like, a modern loft space. Or even something minimalist where one panel becomes a real focal point. They'd look fantastic. Custom art.
So the big takeaway for you listening is really how accessible this stuff is. It looks complex, maybe even expensive.
Right.
But you really can achieve these kinds of results yourself with, basic materials and a bit of patience.
It's about understanding the steps, the principles we talked about, and then just giving it a go, experimenting.
Which leads us to that final thought to ponder.
Yeah, it kind of raises an interesting question for you, doesn't it? How might exploring these kinds of accessible decorative techniques, these methods we've broken down, how might that empower you to personalize your own space, to express your own creativity, maybe in ways you haven't thought of? Even if you think, oh, I'm not an artist, maybe it's just a small detail somewhere, maybe it's a bigger panel like these. The ideas can be scaled,
A great question to think about. Well, thank you for walking us through all that. It's been fascinating. And thank you all for joining us on this deep dive.
Wow.
We hope you feel informed, maybe a bit inspired.
Hopefully.
Until next time.